back in public session. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We're going to just reverse the special presentation and start with Police Chief Chris Wagner's retirement and special thank you to the Denville School. So, sure.
So just a little bit about Mr. Chief Wagner here. So when I was the new superintendent here, one of the first people I went to talk to was Chief Wagner. And, you know, we knew each other a little bit from town, right? Just kind of know who each other were, but that was about it. And over the 5 years I've been here, I can't say enough about the relationship we've built and all the things I can't even say enough about what he's done and what he means to the district as a whole. The fact that he addresses our staff at our convocation, and he's around. Everybody knows who he is. He volunteers to do everything. Anytime there's actually, sometimes I even feel bad. Like I see him reading the kids, and I'm not even reading that day. I'm like, wow, I'm not over there locking up any bad guys, and he's over here doing my job. So I can't say enough about the relationship we've built, what he's done for our school, what he means to the district. And I know he always says this, and I'm gonna continue it. It's not just because of him and myself. This stuff will continue no matter who's here. But I gotta say, it's a little bittersweet here because you know, we've just developed a friendship too, and I'm sure we'll still remain that way too. While you're gonna be local anyway. And we also want to congratulate you on the opportunity you have going forward working with the State Chiefs of Police Association. That's great, but really a terrific person. And I know Mike would like to say a couple words before we give him our little presentation.
Well, Chief, I wrote some notes just to keep myself on track here. First of all, thank you and appreciation of your 31 years of dedicated service to Denville, our township, and most importantly, specifically the students, staff, and parents here in the school system here. You know, I was thinking about it today, and I thought about how you've done so much to keep our schools safe and our students safe in the schools. And then I thought, you've done so much more than that. You and the partnerships and the programs that you've brought to the town have kept our students and our staff safe on the roads, on the buses, mental health 24 hours a day. When we look for a partner to partner with, to support us when we're not in school, you stepped up and said, absolutely, we're willing to help. So thank you for keeping our staff, our students safe 24 hours a day, every day of the year. You and the partnerships and the programs that you've built will go on, like Steve said, for many, many years to come. So we truly appreciate it. I did some math today, so I took a look at our enrollment for the past 31 years. So approximately 5,550 students have come through our kindergarten through 8th grade schools, and you've kept them safe. So on behalf of the students, the parents, thank you for everything you've done, and good luck and congratulations in your retirement.
There's one other person too in the audience here, John Parisian. So we mentioned to John that the chief is retiring, and he's like, what can I do? And the first thing he says, I want to be here. And here he is right sitting next to you. And his company nicely made this plaque here. So Mike, would you mind? And Chief, would you come on up and take our gift to you?
Thank you, John. Congratulations, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Very much.
Thank you for it.
So first off, thank you. But I think probably, I don't know, there's a whole lot of things that I'd like to say and I won't say real quickly because I never do say real quickly. But so first and foremost, my job as a police officer and then ultimately rising through the ranks to become the chief of police is that protect and serve thing. That's we emblazon that on police cars all over the country, and we talk about that, and we don't take that lightly, and that always is that's always our most important responsibility. And unfortunately, as this school violence thing has evolved, it's become more and more dangerous and more violent, unfortunately. And we saw that our most precious little joys, our children, who are most defenseless, became victimized. And it became very important for us to figure out a way how we were going to help those kids. And one thing I guess I've been gifted with is just a little bit of smarts to know that I can't complete anything alone, nothing. Everything requires some assistance from somebody somewhere, and almost everything I do in the police department is a partnership. And not often a partnership with just one person, but a group of people, and often multiple groups of people. And this really, truly is, in Denville, what we have here, between our police department and the school district and the municipality. That triad is probably one of the best examples I can give of that cooperation and partnership. I know so many police chiefs who want to help and want to protect their schools, and they go to the school superintendent or school principal, and the wall just gets thrown up in front of them. And the superintendent or the principal says, listen, you do the police, and I'll do the schools. And there's just no reason for you to come marching in here and telling us how we're going to do that. And that's a shame. And conversely, I know school superintendents and principals who want to go talk to the police, and the police throw up the wall and say, listen, you go back in the school, and we've got this. Like, I don't need you coming in here telling me how to do this. So I'm so glad that we share this partnership, and that, I've said this over and over and over again, it's so unique in this town. I don't know how many towns are like this, where I've got to work with, in a small town like this, with 5 different basic school districts, your district, the regional high school, the county high school, the Catholic schools, and celebrate the children. But somehow, remarkably, we all just gel together. And when we meet and we work together, we're all relatively closely in step with one another, but we certainly have our eyes down the road at that important, that vision of keeping everybody safe. And I don't know what that is. The mayor would say that it's something in the water in Denville. It just is a special community, it really is. And I'm grateful to have had, really, I'm the 7th guy who was the chief of police. It's an important position, and one that I didn't take lightly, but I'm not really any different or more special than somebody else. It's just about working with everybody. So this week is going to be brutally difficult for me to get through, and even leaving completely on my own free will and accord, on my own plan. This is ridiculously disturbing in my brain to walk away from this, but I do want you to know that I think that one of my most important missions was to make sure that when I left the police department, that in the event I fell and broke my foot, or God forbid got sick, or just decided to suddenly leave, that there would be a smooth transition of intelligent, well-educated leaders to run the police department. And I can assure you that that is the case, that Chief Perna is going to walk in right behind me. And I kind of say the police department is painted Chris Wagner. That's all it is. And Frank Perna will change the color, but everything else is going to remain the same. That foundation will be rock solid. And it just might look a little bit different, but beyond that, it's going to be just fine, and we're all going to be just fine. Our kids that we protect, that you protect, are going to be just fine, as is the case right now, as we're continuing to partner together again just now, in things that continue to happen in town. That will go on. But just lastly, it's just always been good when we began to talk about Sandy Hook, and John was on the board, and I was struggling with what were we going to do. John just kind of sat with me and said, well, what are we going to do? let's do this. Let's go to Newark to the state budget meeting and ask to change a rule, and not ask for a penny, but just change a rule to see if we can get these cops in the schools. And it was frustrating for John and I because we watched people walk up and ask for $14 million for a training museum in Whippany and $100 million for the food program in the schools and hundreds of millions of dollars for other projects that were probably necessary in some cases. Others seem to be pretty frivolous. And we went to this committee and said, we don't want a penny. We're just going to ask you to let us to take some money that we have and slide it over here to a different category. And we were just met with flat out no. And so we went back to the drawing board and we made something happen 5 years later. So it doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens in partnerships like this. And again, I would encourage every one of you to continue to communicate with us. You know, the idea that I just found out that you guys were at a lockdown today, and that's the kind of things we should do collaboratively together. I should never ask you to do something that you don't know or don't understand or don't feel comfortable with, and I don't think you would do that to me either. So go there and ask the questions if you're uncomfortable, and you know, put the challenge out there because you know we can answer it, and we can get some more information out there. So it's been a lot. It's been a fantastic ride for me. I really want to thank you for this. You didn't need to do this for me because I know the relationship and feel it, but that's just a little added extra, and I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much.
And thanks to the mayor too. Walking in, I forgot to mention the mayor. It's always late on. He said to come, but he's more than welcome to come. So thank you. Thanks everybody.
All right, thank you, Steve. We're going to move on to our mid-year student safety data system and HIV presentations. I'm sure Mr. Farabian will stay around for this. These were exciting.
I would like to talk about the budget, actually.
You know what? Thanks, John. Thanks, Mayor.
Thanks again for making the
Take
time.
care, Mayor.
Thank you.
And call me about that.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk. Yep. Thanks.
Yeah.
So it's 2 slides if you want.
Oh.
You have it there too. You have it in your. So the New Jersey law requires that the superintendent of schools provide updates to the public and to the board on what used to be called EVERS, and now is called SSDS, which stands for Student Safety Data Systems. HIV is harassment, intimidation, and bullying. So every year I have to give you a little update on how many things happen in the schools. And the first thing is we had 0 instances of weapons or substance abuse. Now this is July 1, 2018 through December 31, 2018. We've had 5 confirmed cases of HIV and 8 investigations, again, ending on December 31st. We had 1 instance of violence, 1 instance of vandalism, 2 instances of violence, and we had a couple kids that were suspended, 3. The police were notified 3 times, in-school suspension 2 times, and out-of-school suspension 2 times. And here's our training. So we spend a lot of time on this, on trainings and on trying to improve the culture and climate of our schools and our HIV trainings and programs. We had 38 trainings for the district and 33 different programs. We have embedded programs in the curriculum. We do all different types of things between teaching, learning, student relationships, safety, physical, emotional environment, morale, the school community. And this year, as you know, we also partner with St. Clair's in the middle school, and that is definitely helping with the behavioral health of the students. And You'll see another one of these presentations that will be from the first of the year through June 30th, and that will be sometime in either July or August. And I think it actually has to be done by September, so it'll most likely be done in August. And you'll also see on here, there's a resolution to just approve my presentation to you of this information. This is the same presentation that you guys have had in your board report for a few weeks. Any questions about this particular thing and any of the things we do? Dr. Culls has a good announcement to make that is in line with this, but I don't want to steal her thunder, so I'm not going to say it. And it would be a good time to say it, but I'm going to wait. I think it would be better for her. So.
Steve, maybe not a question, but more of a comment. Maybe this is for the public that hopefully are watching this video, or maybe you can even add to it, Steve. It's just, I know we've had a tremendous focus on not just the reporting, right? Not just, is it HIV, is it not HIV, what's the legality of it? We've got, lawyers and people that are experts with that, but I think what's important to me, and I think to the board, and something that the administration certainly has as a priority is, what's best for the students? What can we do to help them? And we've put a lot in place, I think, in the last few years, from a culture and climate standpoint, like you said. I think when we sat down at the strategic planning, one of the things that was probably most surprising, not most surprising, but actually I was really excited to hear was how many of the public and the parents and the stakeholders were really interested in not just test scores and physical facility issues, but really, are we building good citizens, right? And a lot of that basis that we do in the elementary schools hopefully helps carry into the middle school and high school. So can you just hit on a few of the things with St. Clair's and a few of the programs they're doing in the guidance department in the elementary?
Sure. Again, I don't want to steal Dr. Culls' stuff. She has some stuff. You sure? Sorry. I didn't know that.
It's great news.
So a couple things. One is our school, Riverview, last year was named a state school of character. And our principal was able to go with a team down to Washington, D.C. and present their program. But great news today, our other school, Lakeview, our other elementary school, was named a state school of character. So both schools are on the state school of character list. And this is something that it's a pretty big initiative. And I like the fact that they both didn't go at it the same way. They both went at it their own way based on the culture and climate of their school. But they both achieved the same goal, which I thought was pretty interesting. Their Got Lakeview Pride promotion this year, I thought was amazing. It really got the kids involved in this. One of the things, you can feel it, it's palpable. You can feel the difference in the culture and climate in schools. Every time you say something like that, something happens, right? Because you're dealing with kids and they make bad decisions sometimes, but that doesn't mean they're bad. You just have to make a better decision next time. So very often, we do get judged on incidents, which is tough, right? Because, this incident happened, how are you handling it? But I can say the proactive side of it now, with the character education, to me, I think it's really changing the culture of the schools. And Mike, you're 100% right. As a matter of fact, in our strategic plan, goal number 3 is all about culture and climate and social and emotional learning and things like that. Grit, building better citizens, productive citizens, and that whole grit component, which is important too. And our middle school, so we do have 2 schools that went about it different ways and got it, and our middle school does their own things, and they do a lot. We have speakers come in. I know that some of you have seen the speakers we've had before, and we continue to do it. We have 2 guidance counselors up there that are working all the time on trying to get the kids, their social emotional learning better, and also our St. Clair's person, which is really a huge plus, and carries a fairly large caseload of children that just need extra behavioral support. So it's not something we just made up. It's not something we kind of just fell into. It was a long, thought out, drawn out plan, and it's nice to see some of the things actually working, right, and coming to fruition. So we're proud of what we're doing here. We're very proud that both schools got that school of character. That Got Lakeview Pride Twitter campaign. I mean, that was all over. There's a Jets person on there right now doing something with it. I thought it was pretty cool. I've seen them. They were passed around all over the place. So great job by all of our people. Thanks for letting me steal your thunder about the calls.
I'll end it.
It's like they wouldn't let me keep the thunder. See that?
Sorry, Dave. All right.
Right.
Steve, your superintendent comments?
Instruction update. Our vestibules, I texted you all a picture of the Valley View one, are being installed. So we have the walls up, we have the materials that were needed. The last piece is the electronics, and some of the electronics and technology needed to be installed once the vestibule was put in. So some of that might still take a little while, but the good thing is that there's progress, and the materials are on site and they're being installed. If you recall, these were things that we were hoping to have done before the start of the school year. We got pushed to October, got pushed to November. One of the things that really slowed us down was just the fact that we're not the only district that's concerned with security around the country, considering what happened in Florida back almost a year ago. And due to that, some of the materials were scarce. But the good news is we are moving along. And in the interim, while we didn't have the vestibules there, we did have personnel in the area to make sure that only the people that are supposed to be in the school are in the school. It looks, our Valley View electric service upgrade is done from the contractor side, but it hasn't been hooked up due to the fact that we had to wait for JCP&L to install the pole, which has been done. And now we just need some time to do it so we don't disrupt the educational process. We're going to have to wait until spring break to finalize. And Valley View Athletics, our boys started the county tournament. They did win their first game. They're the third seed. They beat Chester. And the girls are playing today.
Was that basketball?
Yeah, did I say it?
You just said.
Oh, sorry, boys basketball. Boys basketball, county tournament started. They won the first game against Chester. They are the third seed. The girls' county tournament started today. Don't have the results of that. They're the fourth seed. And our wrestling county championship was held this weekend. And our wrestlers finished in 5th place. That's my report.
Thank you, Steve. I was actually at LQ before the meeting for basketball. I saw them working on the security vestibules tonight, so they're up there. Steve, I don't know if we already have this, but I haven't seen it, and if not, maybe it's just a future thing we can work on. I was thinking as you were saying about athletics. Is there a central place where we could see the athletic schedule?
Yeah,
It's on the website.
Keep up to date. Each sport has their own calendar. It's a Google calendar, and you can subscribe to it.
Okay.
So each sport has their, like, you want to see the boys' basketball schedule, click on there, it shows you girls' basketball has a calendar.
Okay.
And it's on the app too, it's on the app and the website. And we also put it on the front page of this website. So just
Okay, cool.
athletics.
Great, thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Forte? Okay. Moving on to Assistant Superintendent comments, Dr. Phelps. Any good news about Lakeview or anything?
There's good news. I want to add on to this whole character a little bit, though, because we had some groups come in and talk about their morning meetings. And I want to tell you about an initiative that Riverview has started called Peaceful Dismissals. And what they have created is a Google site where every classroom logs in, and Mrs. Eleni actually hosts the end of the day message. So instead of them just calling over the intercom, like bus, whatever, and kids kind of loud in the hall, it's hard to hear, it's a totally different feel. So every day they log in at dismissal time, and there is a message, and then the bus that we dismissed is posted on their smart boards. So as everyone's logged in, it's like a go meeting, but all their cameras are off, and the only one they can see is Zeleni's class, herself. And she's talking about, like today it was Motivational Mondays, but now it's moving into Mindfulness Mondays. So there's a little message to students before they get on the bus, things to think about in their day, and things to think about for the next day. And they've really just seen, and then the kids calmly walk to the buses at the end of the day. And they've really seen a difference with their feel. So they're just trying it out, piloting it, but I can watch it from my office, which is pretty cool. So or wherever I am, I can actually watch it too. And the next phase of that is to have the students, the 5th graders, start to present some thoughts. And they do like rock stars of the day, and so they'll give shout outs to different student starting our day with the morning meeting and characters, and we're now ending our day with this peaceful dismissal. So where it used to be just drop everything and read, it's now the theme is drop everything and breathe. So everybody kind of does calm down, think about what they need to do before they go home. It's a pretty cool initiative. I'll let you know how that goes as we have a few months. As we get in a few months, we see any data, I will give that to you. Kindergarten pre-registration opened on January 14th. It's still open. You can go to our website. If you have not registered, and just click on the pre-registration. We'll take it from there. There are 2 zones, 3 zones. There's Lakeview, Riverview, and currently a flexible attendance zone. And the families that are in the flexible attendance zone, of course, will be placed in a kindergarten classroom, but their school assignment will not be given until later in the school year in an effort to balance our school's class sizes. There is also a revised testing schedule. We did come out with revised, instead of PARCC, it's now New Jersey Student Learning Assessments for ELA, Math, and Science. And those assessments are shorter, so we have fewer days. Now we will have 2 days for English language arts and still the 3 for math for elementary. It's 1 less section, however. They just shortened each day, but they decided to keep it at 3 days. So you'll see it's slightly different because it's not as many days, and it is on the website. It will be in the Friday folder and messaged out. Your schools will be messaged that out. This includes the student attendance report.
Dr. Post, Damaris, any business administrative comments?
I just want to apologize for the last minute addendum, approving the 17-18 school year audit. We just received the report this morning, and I do not want to delay it to submission of the February deadline.
Thank you for following up on that. We've been waiting for it for a while, so thank you. All right, it is now 8:01, and I'm going to open up for public comments. Anything germane to the district? Anyone have any comments, questions that they want to come forward with?
You want to knock it off?
I know you have comments and questions.
I can take a shot if you want. No, I'm happy. I'm going to bed.
All right,
Thank you.
it is 8:01, and I will close our first public comment.
Unless Mr. Cash, you want me to say something?
I'm disappointed, I don't know about Mr. Cassidy.
There's still a second comment.
Hi guys,
Don't worry.
we got
This is a gratitude visit tonight.
All right, we're going to move on to the remainder of our agenda here. Old business. Mr. Capello, would you mind moving us through old business? please?
Absolutely. If there are no objections, I would like to move items A, B, and C under old business. These are the treasurer of school monies reports, the board secretary report. We have reports of student enrollment for December, the medical office report for December, HIV reports. We're approving the 2020-2021 district calendar, the SSDS report, and we are also going to be approving the work regular session meeting and executive session minutes from December 10th.
I'll second. Thank you, Mr. Gass. Any questions, comments? I know we mentioned it a few times, but the 2020-2021 district calendar does have the major holidays lined up with Morris Hills Regional District, correct? It should help with families who have students in both districts.
Never change the calendar again, right?
All right. Seeing no questions, roll call, please.
Mrs. Wagner? Yes. Mr. Cass?
Yes.
Mr. Capello?
Yes.
Mr. Kim?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mrs. Gould?
Abstain.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes. Mr. Lure, would you mind putting us through personnel, please, new business?
Certainly. I would like to move items 1 through 1 through 8, if there are no problems with that as a block. Item one, however, I would like to point out that item L and item, the second half of item T are both being stricken. Did I get that correct, Maris?
Correct.
Okay.
I'm sorry, was that Dave?
So,
Under item 1, sub-items L and the second half of sub-item T, assuming we can do that, we're being stricken from the motion?
Tennessee on T, then, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Correct.
We have a large number of new hires and resignations, that sort of thing. We have some merit pay approvals, cash out vacation days, leave replacement, registrations.
start with that. Continue.
New hires, cash out sick days. We have approval for the job description of the reading specialist. We have substitute approval, leaves of absence, and approval of a student to observe, and the mentor-mentee relationship.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Capello. Any questions, comments? I would like to say thank you and congratulations to our board staff who successfully completed not just another good audit, but a very good audit. Appreciate all their hard work on that. Congrats to a little bit of everything. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Wagner? Yes. Mr. Cass?
Yes.
Mr. Capello?
Yes.
Mr. Kim?
Yes.
Mr. Lord?
Yes.
Mrs. Gould?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes. All right, Mr. Capello, you mind going through instruction program?
Certainly, if there are no objections under instruction program, I would like to move items 1 through 6 as a block. These are, first is, we are approving a list of field trip requests and workshop expenses for various staff. We also have approved Morris Catholic High School teachers to attend a strengthen your writing instruction workshop. These are pass-through funds, Mary Johnson?
Yes.
Yes.
Pass-through to Morris Catholic.
Correct.
We also are going to be approving the summer enrichment program to be held in Lakeview this coming summer, funding registration fees. We're also approving the ESY program in Lakeview also this summer. And the last thing is to approve Russell Lehman to present Triumph Overcoming the Odds on April 6, 2019 at Riverview School.
I'll second.
Yes. Just want to make sure on 2B for workshops, that's probably the largest list I've seen of staff members going to a single workshop, at least in a while, that are during the school day. So I just want to make sure we're going to be good getting coverage for all their classrooms and everything.
I did contact Mrs. Stark before and said we would be able to get enough subs to send the entire first grade. We're rolling in next year the first grade phonics that we have in kindergarten now. And we did have about 22 of our staff members apply for the May Institute, but it's always an iffy, whether or not they're, whether or not they're going to get accepted. So this opportunity came up in New Jersey. It's the staff developer from TC that's doing a one-day overview. And so I did talk to Mrs. Stark, and she said we'll be able to get all of the subs for
Okay,
one day
good.
ahead of time.
Great.
And that's what they're going. And some you can see are duplicated in PNC. This seems like the same topic, but one is like the overview, getting started, and the next one is like the in-depth, and they're going to turnkey it when they come back to the rest of their team.
Thank you.
I had a question on 3 of the trips on the field trips here. The CDI trips for the special ed students. which I think are a great idea. I'm just wondering that you have a grade spread of, second grade to seventh grade for the transition planning for careers training and programs, the Rockaway Lanes, grades 2, 5, 6, and 7, social awareness matters, the ShopRite trip. I was just wondering if that's a little bit too advanced for the second graders. I mean, you have such a disparity in the maturity between the grades. I think it might, in general, be appropriate for second graders, but I would think that would be a different, just a different curriculum, how you deal with the second graders versus the seventh graders.
So I can't talk too much about it because there's very limited number of kids, so I can't give you a lot of detail on the kids that go because people can't figure out who the kids are. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah,
But I can tell you,
it's
just an overview, the answer to your question is it's actually 2 trips in one. So you have the middle school staff with the middle school kids and the elementary staff with the elementary kids. They go together, but they kind of do their own thing. It's differentiated from the grades.
Yeah, okay.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah, but I was just,
These are our self-contained classes.
yeah, they understood. Great.
Any other questions?
I just have one more question on the field trips. The robotics field trips for the 4th and 5th grade, is that the entire class?
I don't remember. If it's the entire class. My recollection is it wasn't, but I could look up and I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mrs. Blackman?
Yes.
Mr. Cass?
Yes?
Mr. Canelo?
Yes.
Mr. Kim?
Yes.
Mr. Lord?
Yes.
Mrs. Gould? Yes. Mr. Anderson?
Yes. Mr. Cass, would you want to move us to finance, please?
Well, for finance, we have 3 items to move tonight. First one is to approve the checklist for a number of items listed on your agenda, including one of my favorites, the milk fund. And we also have approval for non-resident tuition rate for the 2019-20 calendar year. We did discuss this at the recent Finance Committee meeting, and we're looking for ways to enhance revenue, outside revenue coming into the district. And the current non-resident tuition fees are very high, really kind of cost prohibitive. The superintendent has had some inquiries about kids attending school here, and the parents are willing to pay, but not the current rate are just astronomical. So we felt that these are more reasonable rates and not going to be overwhelmed with big influx of students. But we will get some. We discussed the monitoring to make sure, we don't overpack our classrooms in the different grades. We don't know what grades they're going to be, but that'll be monitored also. And then on item number 3, Mrs. Administrator talked about that a little bit earlier, that we had approved this earlier as a draft resolution, and now we've gotten some numbers in from the Division of Benefits to complete the health benefits for retirees. Some information that was lacking. So that's it for finance.
Second. Mr. Kim.
I just have a question on number 2. So with the potential that we accept an outside student from outside the district, and then we get to a point 2-3 years down the road where we've somehow gained additional students for that grade, are they going to be notified that it's on a year-to-year basis? Like, there's a potential that next year we don't have room for them?
So our policy's pretty tight. I had it done by a lawyer a couple of years ago, and we did do this once before. We didn't get any takers, and just for some reason, I had 3 or 4 people contact us. So I said, let's see, maybe it'll work. And it only in a grade that would make sense. If we had a couple empty seats, and I'm only talking maybe 1 or 2 kids per grade. Like that's it. Not like we're we really have to worry about if there was a big issue. There's 1 or 2 kids in a grade that had a anyway. So you guys will need to have a monitor of it as well as me. So there's a lot of checks and balances in our policy, and our policy's tight on, like, it can't cost us additional monies. There are ways that we can deny people. You know, obviously we can't discriminate, but there are other avenues for us to deny. There are ways for us to remove kids if we can't, it's going to cost additional money.
So in other words, costing the district money would be,
Out of higher.
if we get to a point where we have to open another section, I guess I love the idea of it. I mean, just if we've got students, and I know I got one of those emails from a parent out of district that was interested, I forwarded on to you. If we've got the opening for it, it's great that people are hearing good things about Denville and are interested in potentially coming here from out of town. I just don't want, if we've got the potential for new developments and new students coming in, 2 years from now, if something all of a sudden pops and we've got a big development come in, and we get 5 students in one grade. So we approve those on a year-to-year basis. So every year, in other words, if we have somebody come in second grade, it's 1 year, then we approve it again in third grade. So if the next year we get an increase in students, we can go to that family and say, hey, you know, we don't have a room for this child this year.
Not that I want to disrupt any student's educational, but we certainly have to make sure we're taking care of our local students first.
And I think in the lower grades, I would limit it to 1 kid per grade. In the middle school, you're probably okay to take a couple more if you have room, because they're going to eventually be gone into high school. So really, this is I'm talking like, if it happened, I would take like 3 people, maybe 4. And an opportunity to bring in, even if it's $30,000, it's not a lot of money, but I like the prestige to it too. And also, it's a little bit extra money, and if it's not going to cost us anything. And our policy's pretty tight on it, so I feel good about that, because I did write it with Matt a couple of years ago.
Out of curiosity, the increase as it gets older,
I can almost make the argument to reverse it because our class sizes, right? I mean, is that just like, because normally that's just.
It's because I did it on the same way the state does it, so
Okay.
kindergarten is the lowest, and then it goes up a little higher, high school's the highest.
Costs more to educate.
There's like specialists, right, in the middle school, so we keep the staff, their employees, costs are higher. things like that.
Then how does that, out of curiosity, do you see how that compares to other local, private, non-public school tuitions? Are they pretty close?
Well, a little more than across the street.
I was just saying, it's a little bit much more, right?
But yeah. I think, so I had a conversation with the person you sent me. I didn't tell her the numbers, but I was just listening to her and where I thought she might land, and I kind of put it right around there. I know she wouldn't go for 16,000. As a matter of fact, every person who's ever called me about it, all come out, maybe they want to do it, I tell them 16,000. So, we used to do it in Verona, we had like 40 kids, that had and we only charged $6,000, but we brought in, a decent amount of money, it was like $240,000 just in empty spots. I don't see that here because our class sizes are already very large. Over there, we had a school with only 100 kids in it, so we're like, let's try to raise some funds. So I just think it's something that if it falls on our lap, let's take advantage of it, if possible.
That's for a school year, right?
Right.
Not monthly.
Sorry. Just gotta make
They were hung up on Steve.
Like what you think.
On number 3, Damaris, the corrective action plan, can you talk a little bit about the semi-ed for the special education and Medicaid? So what's the significance of that?
The significance of the parent consent form is derived from the SEND program. And we don't have a lot of control of the form. Our special education team is really working since September in collecting those forms more than before. Before we were giving forms to the parents that were taking them home, they were returning them. And per the SEND program, we are required to collect at least 90% of those forms. They were never coming back. Since September, we implemented a corrective action plan, and
there a financial implication one way or the other?
No, there's no financial implications. It's all collected in the form, either yes, I agree to this program, or no, I do not agree. It does not affect us financially. But it's required for the information purpose.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions?
Oh, go ahead, I apologize. Number 3, Mr. Cass mentioned that we were waiting for some retirement insurance numbers.
The CAFR, the audit report, every year we need to report the pension liability that is due to, the district is liable to pay. Now we have to be paying it, but it's any retiree, any post is called other, staff member who have retired from the district, who is currently receiving health state benefits, but retired from that. We are reporting the liability that they have incurred.
Even
So
though-
it's a wash. We are reporting as a liability, we are reporting as a revenue. At the end of the day, it's a wash, but we are required by law to report it on an employee report.
Can you
And
show?
can find that page on that audit report, on page 71, I think it is. It's 4 million and change. And again, it's not a liability to the district, but it's the amount that the state paid on behalf of the retirees.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
That's all.
Let's just finish this.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mrs. Wagner? Yes. Mr. Cass?
No on the bill fund, on number 1, a yes on the other 3, a yes on numbers 2 and
Mr. Capello?
Yes.
Mr. Kim?
Yes.
Mr. Lord?
Yes.
Mrs. Gould?
Yes for 1 and 2, abstain on 3.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes, on everything, I'm going to abstain on check number 6569, because it may have a product that might go with us. 6569.
Mrs. Wagner, would you mind moving us through operations?
Sure. If there are no objections, just under transportation tonight, I'd like to move the one item that the board approves, the use of one of our buses for the senior center trip to Boston.
Second.
Any questions? One,
This is something we do every year, right?
no questions? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Wagner?
Yes.
Mr. Cass?
3. Yes.
Mr. Capello?
Yes.
Mr. Kim?
Yes.
Mr. Lord?
Yes.
Mrs. Gould?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes. On to the good of the cause. Anybody have any correspondence, discussion items, or other?
I have one.
Please.
I was looking at the student counts and comparing 2017 to 2018. Lakeview's dropped considerably, which is good. That's always been a very busy school with a lot of students. Riverview is up 32 students. And, overall, we're still down 14 students compared to 2017 in September. I was wondering if the Riverview uptick was due to, you know, we gave people on the south side of the boundary line, I think it was, you know, Franklin Road, that area, the opportunity to go to Riverview instead of Lakeview. So I wonder if that had, was a variable that caused the uptick of Riverview, or is it, you know, the home sales on this side of town where, you know, you still, you know, you get a house that's priced a little bit lower than on the south side of town.
How else is expert on this?
Last year, we moved 8 students, or we assigned 8 students from, that had the option to go in the flood zone to Riverview. So it didn't impact there. When we left in the summer, all of the classes were even. But then we had some surprise, we had 9 students move in kindergarten in August. We were not expecting that. That's usually what happens at Lakeview. So it was kind of an interesting case. So as far as we leave this summer, we will have them as balanced as we can. And then after that, it's going to be who moves in. And we'll try our best to keep those balanced. It does not impact, we did have members of students move in the other grades, and it did not impact that because it would only be the income in kindergarten that affected. And I know the other grades, we had some surprises in some other grades that filled up at Riverview as well.
Great, thank you.
That's part of the reason that we're holding off as long as we can, to see where are the people moving in, and trying to get to all the preschools, get everyone registered. So I went out there, please register, pre-register for kindergarten. If you know anyone, encourage them so that we have a better idea. We did also offer a program at Riverview that we did not have in the past. So a handful of students came to Riverview this year. That program used to be housed in Riverview.
Is the flex zone similar for students? So say we have a family that moves into town and they're a 4th grade child. We could potentially flex that student depending on what the populations are in both schools. So we could say, hey, we're going to recommend or kind of put them over Riverview or Lakeview depending on the population of your school.
Yes, and that has happened throughout the school year. And they call me and they say, and I look at the numbers and I'm like, okay, that student has to go to this building, depending on, it really depends on the grade. If it's smaller at Riverview in that grade, I put them there. If it's smaller at Lakeview, I put them there. So we're trying to keep it within that zone. For the most part, we have a lot of young families. If you remember, we had this conversation last year when we had students registered with 50% were the youngest in their, or the oldest in their family, and that was the first time in years. It's usually 30%, and now it's 50%. So now we're having all these younger siblings coming up that I think I'm not sure what this is going to pose. So I have several options laid on the table, and every day I check it and just keep playing with the numbers, wondering which way we're going to be going. But it will all be great at the end of the year.
One of the things I mentioned to Steve a little earlier is we should look at that flex zone with the new developments coming in and make sure that the ones that make sense to be in the flex zone are in the flex zone. Some of them are, like for instance, the one that's going behind Knowles, I don't think is in the flex zone.
I don't think it is. It might be. I have to look, I'm looking at
If it's not, it makes sense because those students, it's probably halfway between Lakeview or Riverview, where that's, I mean, it's certainly less, it's more halfway than some of our other flex zones.
Well, I think we need it in the flex zone regardless.
Yeah, because we just don't know what's gonna happen, particularly with, if a family comes in and they've got a mixture of 3 kids in multiple grades, we may have to look at that, so. I think the 53 one probably is, right?
The 53, we put in, the 53 one, we got that down there, because it is pretty close to it. We put the actual late one in.
So we had ones that were across the street before we going to Lakeview, right?
Correct. And
We see the
interestingly,
school.
a large number of young families are moving in that area, as well as some other areas that have typically had, in the last 10 years, have had 0 students. We've had 5 on one road. So it's young families are moving in, or families with younger who's coming and where are they going.
Do you have, Dr. Colas, like an ETA on when you'll make the announcements? Is it typically February or March or?
Well, that's,
Go ahead. Yeah.
last year I was able to make it at the end of February, but this year I'm gonna hold out till late spring, until I start seeing a trickle, because it's still, we have 119 already, and we're going over for 2 weeks. So I'm not sure what that means, either we're getting information out, or does that mean we're gonna have a big class? And so I can't really predict what that means at this point, but I'm going to have to wait as long as possible so that we, like what Mr. Cass brought up, so we don't have a surprise. I think that the surprise that we got will not happen this year. But you never know. It was kind of a one-time surprise, but hopefully we won't have that again. And maybe each of the classes will be able, leave in June, maybe losing in the summer will be really be determined.
Dr. Foster, is there anything that they would need to do prior to kindergarten orientation that they would need to know which school for those parents who are, obviously they're anxiously waiting, but is there anything that they need to know about which school their child is going to?
What I've communicated to those families at this point is I gave them all of the paperwork to start filling out, because if we still haven't decided, we'll definitely bring them in, we do the screening in late May, early June, so hopefully we'll know at that point. If not, then we'll come in, still go through the process. The orientation doesn't really happen until the summer, so that's in August, so by then, of course, we'll clearly know. We'll start assigning students to teachers in June. But up until that point, they really don't have to. But I'm trying to keep them posted and sending emails, because I understand, he's anxious and I've had questions. What does that mean? We're not going to spot, because it's their first time ever being in a public school. It's absolutely, you have a spot, it's just which one we're going to be in.
I also want to let you word on that. I also sent this policy to all realtors who deal with business. That will less, basically everybody at Parsippany, Denville, Randolph, and Mountain Lakes. I think you would go to township. So.
And as a flexible parent, I will speak up and say, in my experience, the only concern that I think someone would have would be before care, after type thing, since Riverview has before care, Riverview doesn't. That would be the only thing, that if they had to get into a program out off-site for before care, that would be the only concern I can think of. I know we were told very early last year, but I didn't expect to learn that early, just from my perspective.
So, thank you.
But everything went smoothly for us. Okay.
I have received letters, in the email that I sent to all of those parents in the flex zone, I did ask them which they requested, letting them know I may or may not be able to honor that request, but certainly I would do it if I can, and we haven't been able to in the past, so, just putting people on the list, because there are those concerns. People are looking at before and after care, they're looking at the fact that they live within sight distance of Riverview. If they have a sibling already there, of course, we'll place them wherever their siblings. That's it.
Thank you, Dr. Colas. Any other good cause?
I just have two things. We have the Morris County School Board meeting on the 31st, the dinner meeting. Anybody like to attend? And the other thing is, I was fortunate enough to get to the Valley lockdown drill today. Eye-opening, I encourage everybody, if you have the opportunity to go. Kind of a very, very interesting experience. Amazing how smoothly it went. How the kids just go with it, and not to get into too many details, but I saw a lot of teachers who were exercising the Alice training and getting into doing things, adapting, and a lot of that training seems like it's been trickling down. Talking to some of the police officers, they do this every month. They review what happens, in each classroom. And they also have these the drills where they basically will spend extended time discussing afterwards. So, like I said, it was really eye-opening. I really appreciate being able to go. If you guys get a chance, I would recommend it.
Do we know the next dates?
Steve, the next day is the lockdown.
I
public?
I just wanted to give a kudos to, I know some of our staff members have duties that are out in the cold. It's been pretty cold the last couple of weeks, and I can speak personally that probably once or twice a week I drop off my kids at Lakeview, and despite very, very cold, frigid temperatures, those staff members have a big smile on and are welcoming students, and they're out there in the cold for a while. So thank you to our staff members who continue to have an extremely positive attitude despite the cold weather, and welcoming students as they come into school and the other activities outside that they do. So I appreciate it. Any other good cause? It is 8:35, and we'll open for our second open public comment section. Seeing no one come up, I will close our open public comment section at 8:36 p.m. Do not have any more seconds in Congress. We'll take a motion for adjournment. Second. Mr. Kimball, second. Mr. Lewis, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? None? Any abstentions? We are closed at 8:36 p.m.
Yay. Nice.